And the Oscar goes to Kim Basinger, LA Confidential.
Think you know L.A. Confidential? Think again, my darling, because Russell Crowe, Kim Basinger, Guy Pearce, James Cromwell, and Kevin Spacey have finally decided to take this film to another level by revealing some unbelievable and really shocking behind-the-scene drama. From wardrobe mishaps that left Russell Crowe running around dressed in the wrong costume, to Kim Basinger laughing really hard in the middle of a serious scene, to what many never knew about Bloody Christmas. I can tell you for free that there was actually a lot going on behind the camera. Don't believe me? Well, I guess I'll let this revelation do the talking. Kim Basinger won an Oscar award in just 15 minutes of screen time. Unbelievably, Kim Basinger effortlessly pulled off the acting version of a magic trick. She won an Oscar for her role in L.A. Confidential, but how much screen time did she have? Just 15 minutes. That is less than the time it takes to make popcorn. To be honest, many people believe that to win an Oscar, you must be on screen the entire time, crying, yelling, running, and possibly even dying dramatically. But then, in a surprising turn of events, Kim appeared, muttered a few lines in a quiet voice, looked enigmatic, and then received an Oscar. It was like a dream. While the other actors were sweating under heavy dialogue and violent scenes, Kim was sipping wine in silk dresses and getting awards. The best part? She made it look easy. So easy that people started asking if she had some secret Oscar cheat code. Remarkably, her performance was classy, powerful, and full of quiet strength. But still, the fact that she barely used up a lunch break's worth of screen time and walked away with gold is both impressive and hilarious, don't you agree? Was it luck, or did she merit that award? Well, she obviously gave her best performance on screen, so let's not debate over it. Next time someone tells you that less is more, just say, "Tell that to Kim Basinger," and walk away. She made 15 minutes count like no one else in Hollywood. Next. The costume chaos. Honestly, Russell Crowe has always been known for his intensity.
Well, all of the characters in this script seem to be something else.
But even he wasn't ready for the chaos of this one day on the LA Confidential set. It wasn't a stunt, a line flub, or a scene gone wrong. It was his costume. In the middle of a critical scene, Crowe looked down and realized he was wearing the wrong outfit. Can you imagine that sinking feeling? A costume meant to define a character, suddenly bad and all eyes are on him. What would you do if the entire crew and cameras were watching while your armor betrayed you? "I just had to roll with it," Crowe said later, a grin in his voice as he recounted the moment. "It was one of those times where panic doesn't help. You either own it or you fall apart. I chose to own it, and that is precisely what he did." Then, what could have been a disaster became a defining moment for the scene. Instead of lessening the tension, Crowe's movements, looks, and even tiny gestures enhanced it. It was a raw, unexpected, and vivid depiction of the scene that no one had expected to be captured on camera. Some of the squad bit their lips in distaste, while others fought back laughing as they watched in shock. Imagine the anxiety, then the relief, when everyone realized Crowe was acting, not panicked. He then made light of the clothing incident, speculating about whether it might be marketed as a method costume. The incident was unforgettable because of Crowe's blend of humor and boldness. Next. Kim Basinger couldn't stop laughing. Of course, Kim Basinger, known for her poise and professionalism, had moments when she couldn't keep up the composed, ready-to-act act. On the set of L.A. Confidential, there was one scene that demanded absolute seriousness, a tense exchange that would make or break the drama. The cameras were rolling, the crew was silent, and every actor was in complete focus. Then it happened. A line flub by Guy Pearce sent Kim into a fit of laughter she could not stop. Can you imagine trying to hold a straight face while delivering lines in a high-stakes scene? Kim couldn't. Every attempt to regain composure only made her laugh harder. She later revealed that the main reason she kept laughing was the sheer unpredictability of the moment. Guy's timing was perfect, Basinger admitted. It wasn't just the line. It was his expression, the way he delivered it, and the way the whole scene felt so tense that any slip became hilarious. I tried to hold it together, but it was impossible. The crew watched in disbelief as the usually poised actress doubled over, tears forming in her eyes from laughter. Even the director had to pause the shoot because nothing could calm the energy in the room. Strangely, Kim's laughter didn't ruin the scene. It made it unforgettable. She embraced the chaos, and the story of that day has lived on as one of the funniest on-set moments in film history. Next, Guy Pearce broke a prop guy. Pearce is known for his dedication to getting every scene right, but even the most careful actor can have a moment of unexpected chaos. On the set of LA Confidential, one day's filming involved a simple scene with a prop phone. Although it appeared straightforward, Pearce accidentally smashed it in the heat of the moment. Can you imagine trying to act normal while knowing you've damaged a piece of the set? For a few tense seconds, the squad remained transfixed, unsure whether to laugh or panic. Pearce later explained his thoughts. "I thought, oh no, that's going to cost a fortune, and the director is going to kill me." But at the same time, it was one of those situations where you simply had to keep going. He ended the scene as if nothing had happened, making up his own actions to cover up the incident. Unbelievably, this mistake did not ruin the scene. Instead, it added a little unforgettable energy and made it feel and look more realistic. On the other hand, his fellow crew members couldn't stop laughing. Someone even joked about Pearce having a hidden talent for accidental destruction. Additionally, the director admitted that the improvised reaction added a subtle authenticity to the performance. Sometimes mistakes become magic, and Pearce's broken prop became a perfect example of that. Moments like these make one wonder, how often do minor accidents on set actually improve the scene? Have you ever done something by mistake that turned out to be precisely what was needed? Impressively, Guy Pearce's broken prop shows that even accidents can become memorable highlights if you handle them with focus, creativity, and a little humor. Next, unexpected rain delay filming L. A Confidential was intense enough without Mother Nature joining the set. During one pivotal outdoor scene, dark clouds rolled in unexpectedly, and rain started pouring down far earlier than scheduled. The crew froze, the cameras stopped, and the actors had to think fast as their carefully planned scene became instantly unpredictable. Kiefer Sutherland later revealed that the sudden downpour turned into a surprisingly creative moment. "We were supposed to film later in the week, but the rain came early. At first, everyone was frustrated, but then we just decided to embrace it," he said. To make the scene work, the cast grabbed umbrellas, rearranged their blocking, and improvised minor interactions. What could have been a delay quickly became an opportunity for the actors to deliver performances that were unexpectedly realistic. In a twinkling of an eye, the mood shifted from frustration to camaraderie, and the unexpected challenge turned into a chance to collaborate and think on their feet. Next, the set's silent prank war. Have you ever wondered what happens when a set of talented actors just decides to play tricks on each other behind the cameras? On the LA Confidential set, the cast and crew started what they jokingly called a silent prank war, and it quickly became one of the most talked about behind-the-scenes stories. How do you imagine the usually serious Russell Crowe reacting when someone swapped his script pages? Or Kim Basinger discovering that her coffee had been replaced with decaf right before a long, tense scene? Guy Pearce was one of the first to join in, secretly moving props or leaving funny notes in unexpected places. Kevin Spacey, never one to miss an opportunity, improvised small, mischievous actions mid-take, catching his co-stars completely off guard. Can you picture the tension of a dramatic scene suddenly disrupted by a perfectly timed prank? The actors had to stay in character while silently fighting back, creating hilarious, unforgettable moments that only those on set witnessed. The entire production became a silent battleground of tactics and cunning moves, with minor characters and crew members involved. Everyone jumped in surprise and then burst out laughing when Kiefer Sutherland once set up a chair to make a loud noise when someone sat down. However, why should the audience care about this? That's because, in a sense, this shows that, despite the drama, anxiety, and glitz of Hollywood, the performers were just like us. They laughed, made jokes, and did other funny, realistic things. The silent prank war became a bonding ritual that strengthened the cast, reminding everyone that even on a serious film set, humor and creativity are always welcome. The truth about Bloody Christmas. This one is not only weird but also disturbing because it is entirely accurate. In the movie, there was a scene called Bloody Christmas, where a group of police officers beat up prisoners inside the station. You might think it is just a dramatic invention. However, that happened, and we have proof. So let's go down memory lane a bit, shall we? In 1951, a group of young men from Mexico were arrested in Los Angeles and taken into custody. What followed was a brutal beating by police officers on Christmas Day. It became a national scandal and was dubbed Bloody Christmas by the media. The film included this real event to show just how deep the corruption ran in the Los Angeles Police Department. But many people watching the movie had no idea it was based on a fact. Some even thought the scene was exaggerated for shock value. It was not. If anything, the real story was even worse. According to Kim and other cast members, filming that scene was a lot of work because of its emotional weight. They knew they were recreating something terrible that had happened. It gave the movie a weight that no amount of acting alone could create. The strange thing isn't that the movie made it up. The unusual aspect is that something this shocking happened, and most people never heard about it until they saw it in a movie. Next, Kevin Spacey's costume confusion. Even the most seasoned actors can have moments where the script, the set, and the wardrobe collide in unexpected ways, and Kevin Spacey experienced this firsthand on the LA Confidential set. One day, while in full costume and prepared to film a scene that wasn't even supposed to be shot yet, initially everybody froze, unsure whether to stop him or just let him continue, and then after a few seconds, the tension exploded into laughter. Later, Spacey acknowledged, "Unless someone whispered in my ear, I honestly didn't realize I was in the wrong spot. For a moment, I assumed it was part of the scene. When I realized this, I had to laugh at myself and figure out how to turn it into something functional." In addition to preventing chaos, his quick thinking gave the scene a subtle sense of authenticity. Unbelievably, the cast struggled to maintain a straight face, and even the director had to take a brief break to gather himself. Not only was this a wardrobe error, but it also demonstrated Spacey's flexibility and his ability to remain faithful to his character in any situation. Camera angles had to be swiftly changed, and minor props had to be adjusted, but the filming went on without a hitch, and everyone was impressed by how well Spacey handled the chaos. Such moments demonstrate how an actor's inventiveness and humor can turn even a minor mishap into something memorable. Kevin Spacey's costume confusion didn't just cause laughter on set, it demonstrated the collaborative energy of the cast and crew, proving that sometimes the most unplanned moments make a film set truly unforgettable. Next, Guy Pearce kept forgetting his lines. Let's not make a big deal out of this, though. After all, we are all humans, and a lot of crazy stuff happens sometimes. Reportedly, Guy Pearce had one of those unforgettable moments on the LA Confidential set. Mid-scene, he suddenly couldn't remember his lines, leaving the entire crew holding their breath as he tried to recover. Have you ever felt your mind go completely blank at the worst possible time? That's precisely what happened to Pearce, turning an ordinary take into a tense, yet oddly entertaining challenge. He later explained, "I had practiced it 100 times, but that moment struck me differently. My brain simply stopped working. I panicked at first, but then I decided to trust the situation and roll with it. What came next was a masterful demonstration of improvisation. Pearce kept the action flowing with nuanced facial expressions, tiny gestures, and well-timed pauses, turning a near calamity into a startlingly real moment. Even though they respected his performance, the cast couldn't help but notice and tease him in between takes. According to Kevin Spacey, Pearce's lost lines created an additional level of tension that was practically cinematic in and of itself. Even Curtis Hanson acknowledged that the surprise gave the scene a fresh and more realistic energy. His experience demonstrates how human error frequently results in memorable moments that help a scene connect with viewers. But hold on, would you have suspected that Pearce's lines were flawed if this hadn't been disclosed? Maybe not. Russell Crowe's stunt surprise. Russell Crowe has always been fearless on screen, but even the LA Confidential crew wasn't prepared for his stunt surprise. During a particularly intense action scene, Crowe decided to take matters into his own hands and perform a stunt that wasn't planned initially. Imagine the reaction of the crew and fellow actors when one of Hollywood's most commanding presences suddenly went rogue on set. Cameras were rolling, Tension was high, and then Crowe executed the stunt flawlessly, leaving everyone momentarily stunned. He later reflected on the moment with his trademark mix of humor and intensity. "I saw an opportunity to make the scene feel more real," Crowe admitted. "It wasn't in the plan, but I thought, why not? Sometimes you just have to commit fully and trust the instincts that brought you to acting in the first place." The stunt, though unplanned, added a raw energy to the scene, elevating the tension and making it far more cinematic than the original choreography. The crew scrambled to adjust camera angles and props, while the cast tried to remain calm amid surprise. Guy Pearce later joked about Crowe being the one-man adrenaline machine who makes everyone else look like they're standing still. Even the director admitted that the spontaneous stunt enhanced the scene, adding realism that could not have been scripted. Aside from being an exciting behind-the-scenes story, Russell Crowe's stunt surprise was a whole lot. It displayed his unwavering dedication and inventiveness in each performance. That moment serves as a reminder to everyone on set and viewers at home that sometimes the most memorable on-set magic happens when we least expect it. Crowe's readiness to take chances transformed a routine action scene into a legendary cinematic moment. Kim Basinger's coffee mix-up. According to the reports, L.A. Confidential is a film known for its tension, intrigue, and perfectly crafted scenes. But behind the cameras, not everything went according to plan. Even in a production this polished, small, unexpected moments could throw the cast off balance, and Kim Basinger experienced one of the most memorable of them. On a busy morning of filming, she reached for what she thought was her usual cup of coffee, only to discover mid-sip that it had been swapped. What seemed like a minor mix-up quickly turned into a hilarious on-set story. Basinger later revealed that the coffee had been quietly swapped by one of the crew members, and she could not stop laughing once she realized what had happened. "I took a sip, froze, and then it hit me," she recounted with a smile. "It wasn't even bad coffee. It was just the timing of it, in the middle of a serious scene prep, that made it hilarious." Guy Pearce and Kevin Spacey, who were nearby, quickly joined in the laughter, and soon the day's tension dissolved into giggles and teasing. The director later admitted that Basinger's reaction added a lighthearted energy to the scene. What could have been a minor distraction became a bonding moment, reminding everyone that even high-pressure sets have room for humor and spontaneity. These unscripted moments became legendary among the cast, showing the human side of filmmaking behind the glamour and tension of L.A. Confidential. Remarkably, Kim Basinger's coffee mix-up turned a simple prank into one of those stories the cast would remember for years, proving that sometimes the most minor incidents leave the most significant mark on a film's behind-the-scenes history. Next, the hair trouble.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, officer.
If you honestly watched L.A. Confidential, you'd definitely agree that Lynn Bracken looked flawless on screen with her always perfect curls, glowing skin, and sweet voice. One brushed, one sprayed, one just stared at it and begged. And yet somehow Lynn's hair refused to cooperate. It frizzes in the heat, flattens in the cold, and once curled so hard it looked like it had joined a circus act. There was one moment when the hairdresser screamed because Lynn's bangs had mysteriously disappeared. Gone. Just poof. They had to hold up production while someone hunted for a hairpiece that did not make her look like a rock star from the 70s. Kim Basinger tried her best to stay patient, but even she once muttered, "This hair has more mood swings than I do." The crew nicknamed her hair the Diva. If the wind so much as sneezed, the stylist would run in with a comb like they were defusing a bomb. And yet on screen it all looked effortless, smooth, soft, and movie star perfect. But trust us, that hair had drama. It almost deserved its own trailer. Next, rain machine overload. Despite meticulous planning, L.A. Confidential occasionally deviated from the original plot, including one particularly memorable moment with the rain machine on set. The crew was prepared to create the ideal sad atmosphere by simulating a slight drizzle during a dramatic midnight scenario. They assumed everything was good until the rain machine failed and unleashed violent rainfall. Actors were positioned, cameras were rolling, and then a torrential downpour soaked everyone and everything. Russell Crowe later chuckled as he recounted the event, explaining how the unexpected water transformed an already emotional scene into something quite different. After a few seconds of becoming drenched, he said, "My first thought was, well, this isn't in the storyboard." However, Crowe immediately got into the action, using the heavy rain to enhance rather than halt his performance. The remainder of the group turned what could have been a disaster into a thrilling theatrical event by slipping, ducking, and improvising. Honestly, even the crew had trouble regaining control, with camera operators scrambling to safeguard equipment and grips racing to alter props. Everyone worked quickly to keep the scene running. Guy Pearce and Kevin Spacey were giggling hysterically and joking about the need for life jackets for the next night's shoot between takes. Despite the chaos, no prearranged rain could have created the overload's breathtakingly gorgeous effect. So don't you think it was worth it after all? Next. Popcorn disaster. I'm sure this fact might not sound entirely new to your ears, but to be honest, the infamous popcorn disaster on the LA Confidential set is one story that still makes the cast laugh years later. During a break between takes, someone decided to snack on a bucket of popcorn, but what was meant to be a harmless treat quickly turned into chaos. The popcorn somehow ended up all over the set, covering props, costumes, and even part of the camera equipment. Imagine trying to shoot a tense noir scene while kernels are scattered everywhere and crew members frantically clean up. Guy Pearce later joked about the situation, saying, "It was like a snowstorm made entirely of buttery popcorn. We couldn't take anything seriously for at least 10 minutes. Even Russell Crowe got caught in the mess, stepping on a stray kernel and nearly slipping mid-scene. Consequently, the cast had to pause, regroup, and carefully navigate the set, all while trying not to laugh too loudly and ruin the takes." Kevin Spacey recalled that the incident created a moment of unexpected bonding, as everyone joined in the cleanup effort and shared laughs over the ridiculousness of it all. The fact that something as tiny and insignificant as a simple snack could cause such havoc on set is what truly makes this story unique. Imagine the entire set being turned upside down by a bag of popcorn while everyone is recording a serious, high-stakes event. Actors laughed, crew members ran around, and somehow the tension of filming a serious crime thriller was briefly relieved. Instead of inciting fury or hatred, the episode became one of those amusing, wonderful memories that people never forget. Although the popcorn disaster may have been messy, it is also a testament to the camaraderie and good humor that kept the set alive. Sometimes, the most minor accidents create the stories that last the longest. Kevin's improvisation. Sometimes the most unforgettable scenes in a film production aren't always scripted. Kevin Spacey exhibited this on the set of LA Confidential. During one heated scene, the atmosphere was intense, cameras were rolling, and the actors delivered their lines flawlessly. Then Spacey decided to add his own spin by improvising a statement that did not appear in the script. The room was silent for a moment as everyone tried to digest what had just happened. Could one unplanned line change the tone of an entire scene? In this case, it definitely did. Spacey later explained, "It just felt right in the moment. The words weren't on the page, but the emotion was there. Sometimes you have to trust instinct." His improvisation caught the other actors off guard in the best possible way. Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe reacted naturally, and the director realized the spontaneous addition elevated the scene, adding a depth and authenticity that no scripted line could have achieved. What makes Spacey's improvisation unforgettable is how seamlessly it blended into the story. The audience watching the film would never guess that the line was unplanned, yet it brought a subtle edge to the tension on screen. Even minor props and blocking had to be adjusted in real time, but the cast embraced the change with professionalism and a hint of excitement. Kevin Spacey's decision to improvise reminds us that acting is as much about instinct as it is about preparation. The unexpected can create brilliance when an actor trusts their gut and embraces the moment. Ghost stories. Don't be surprised, because even a carefully planned set like LA Confidential had some strange and not too scary moments. During late-night shoots, several cast members noticed odd things happening. Kim Basinger admitted she sometimes felt as if someone was watching her while walking between takes. Guy Pearce and Kevin Spacey laughed about small objects moving on their own and strange noises in empty rooms. It was enough to make everyone a little uneasy. Additionally, Russell Crowe remembered hearing footsteps in a hallway when no one was there. It was late, the set was quiet, and suddenly I heard something behind me. I don't know if it was just the building, but it definitely gave me chills, he said. While the noises didn't stop filming, they added a strange, eerie feeling to some nights on set. Crew members explained that most of the sounds could be from creaking floors or air systems, but tired actors and dim lighting made everything feel more intense. Even Kevin Spacey joked that if ghosts were on set, they were probably just critiquing their performances. These stories became part of the set's behind-the-scenes drama. They reminded everyone that filming isn't just about scripts and cameras. Sometimes the atmosphere and little unexplained things add to the experience. The ghostly moments didn't interfere with the production, but they gave the cast and crew something to laugh or shiver about afterward. Even now, these ghost stories are shared among fans and the cast alike. They show that behind the polished scenes of LA Confidential, there were genuine moments that kept the actors alert and the atmosphere interesting. Sometimes, the set itself has its own story beyond the film. Wardrobe malfunction. Honestly, there was more to filming LA Confidential than just camera angles and lines. Sometimes the costumes were the main attraction. In one scene, just as the cameras were rolling, Russell Crowe's jacket got caught in a prop door. Instead of ruining the take, the unforeseen impediment led to a hilarious, crazy sequence that had the cast and crew laughing uncontrollably. Later, Guy Pearce admitted that wardrobe accidents were more common than anyone had thought. "You think everything is set perfectly, but the clothes have a mind of their own," he joked. Even minor actors had moments where their costumes refused to cooperate, forcing props and blocking to be adjusted in real time. Kevin Spacey remembered a scene where his cufflink got stuck mid-shot, and he had to act as if nothing was wrong while subtly trying to fix it. These little struggles added a natural authenticity to the performances that audiences would never notice. Kim Basinger also faced costume challenges. She had to carefully adjust her dress on one take because it wouldn't stay in place while she delivered her lines perfectly. So, since even the most minor wardrobe problem could result in unanticipated delays or necessitate improvisation, the crew quickly learned to anticipate them. Despite sporadic disruptions, the actors and crew accepted the accidents with a sense of humor. Wardrobe malfunctions turned into an inside joke, demonstrating that patience and laughter were crucial even in a demanding, high-pressure production. Next, the director made the characters read their scripts aloud. Some directors let their actors read the script and show up. Not Curtis Hanson. He had a different idea. He made the cast sit down and read the novel L.A. Confidential out loud together. Yes, the entire thing. Out loud. Like story time at detective summer camp. The actors alternated between reading their lines, turning the pages, and trying not to giggle when someone had trouble pronouncing the fancy words. It had nothing to do with line practice. Instead, it meant listening to the language, feeling the beat, and figuring out the story's overall tone. This was not your typical film rehearsal. It was a combination of acting class, book club, and possibly therapy. Some actors said it helped them immerse themselves in the story. Others just wanted snacks. Hanson believed that hearing the novel read aloud helped the cast become immersed in the complex plot. With so many twists, turns, and shady deals, it made sense. Who knew that a movie full of crime and chaos started with a good old-fashioned read-aloud session? That is dedication, and maybe a little madness. One thing is sure, if your director starts handing out books instead of scripts, you know you are in for a bit of something different from the ordinary. Kiefer Sutherland's Jack Vinson's mishap. Have you ever flubbed a line at the worst possible moment? That's precisely what happened to Kiefer Sutherland on the LA Confidential set while playing Jack Vinson's. During a key scene, he accidentally delivered a line meant for later, throwing off the timing and leaving the crew and cast momentarily frozen. Cameras were rolling, tension was high, and for a few seconds, somehow I mixed up my lines even though I was in the zone, Sutherland said. laughing about the incident afterwards. Although it was embarrassing, it served as a helpful reminder that mistakes are inevitable for everyone, even the most well-prepared actors. So, to keep the scene credible, the other actors had to adapt quickly and respond organically to his unexpected delivery. Guy Pearce and Kevin Spacey couldn't resist teasing him between takes, and even Russell Crowe admitted that seeing a professional like Kiefer stumble was oddly comforting. The director used the moment to capture some authentic reactions, turning what could have been a minor setback into a subtle creative win. This mishap became one of the cast's favorite behind-the-scenes stories. It reminded everyone that even on a tightly choreographed set like LA Confidential, flexibility and humor are key. Kiefer Sutherland's line mix-up shows that mistakes happen, but with quick thinking and teamwork, they can be turned into memorable moments that add a human touch to the finished film. Danny DeVito's secret improvisation. What happens when a veteran actor decides to break the rules in the middle of a serious scene? That's exactly what Danny DeVito did on the set of LA Confidential. During one tense sequence, he slipped in a tiny, unplanned gesture that no one expected. The cameras were rolling, the cast was focused, and suddenly, DeVito's improvisation added a spark that completely changed the energy of the moment. He later explained, "It felt right in the moment. I wasn't trying to steal the scene. I just wanted to make it feel more alive." The subtle addition caught everyone off guard. Guy Pearce burst into quiet laughter mid-take, trying to hold back while staying in character. Kevin Spacey had to pause before reacting naturally, and even Russell Crowe admitted that DeVito's quick thinking injected a moment of levity that was impossible to plan. The director quickly realized that this small, spontaneous move had actually improved the scene, adding depth and realism that a scripted action could never have achieved. What made this improvisation so brilliant was its restraint. It wasn't over the top or showy. It simply blended seamlessly with the film's tone while letting the cast react in real time. Props had to be adjusted slightly, and reactions from other actors became more organic, giving the scene a freshness that would have been impossible to script. Danny DeVito's secret improvisation, along with all the behind-the-scenes chaos, from Russell Crowe's stunt surprises to Kim Basinger's coffee mix-up, reminds us that the making of LA Confidential was alive with unpredictability, humor, and raw creativity. In a nutshell, these moments illustrate that even a perfectly rehearsed production can benefit from spontaneity, turning ordinary takes into unforgettable cinematic magic. So, which of these behind-the-scenes secrets surprised you the most? Tell us in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more engaging content. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye for now.